If you experiment a lot with tactics on Football Manager, you'll realize that the 4-4-2 flat has been unfriendly this year. I've struggled to get it to work, but I've succeeded only once with this shape, and that was with a specific team. And even though I went on to test out the same tactic with a different team, the results weren't as good. So I went on to the internet and then went to search for the best 4-4-2 flat tactics on Football Manager 2023. And in this video, I'm going to share those tactics with you. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm glad to have you. Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy Football Manager content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to come up with more videos for you. And if you've been here before, you haven't already subscribed, now is going to be a very good time for you to hit the subscribe button. Let's get into the video. The first tactic that we're going to be looking at is the 4-4-2 goal machine. I actually found this on FM Scout, so it comes highly recommended. The tactic creator goes for an advanced forward on attack duty and then a complete forward on support duty. He also asks his wingers to play on attack duty, so there's not much variation as to the player roles in this system. The two central midfielders here are, one is the central midfield on support duty, and then you have a deep line playmaker on support duty. Both fullbacks are on support, and I noticed that they have a lot of instructions on these fullbacks, so I'm not going to go through all of them really. The central defenders here is one ball playing defender and one central defender, and then you have a sweeper keeper on defend duty. Most of the instructions are identical, but I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download this tactic too. The mentality is attacking, and then the team plays with a high press, so there's a lot of similarities between the gegenpressing pressing style and a tiki-taka style of play with the way this tactic is set up. The second tactic on the list is not so instruction heavy, and I think it's also suited to lower league sides and then teams that are somewhat mid-table. This is created by Josh Daly, and then it's a counter-attacking 4-4-2 style of play, a lot more counter-attacking than the previous one that we saw. You can see the team's out of possession instruction here. Josh opts for a lower defensive line. I don't see that very often in Football Manager OP tactics, and I don't use the lower defensive line very often when I'm playing. It often messes my team up, but somehow it tends to work here for Josh because he had good results playing this tactic. There's a get stuck in instruction as well, so you expect your team to actually kick their position. To support Josh's counter-attacking style of play, his team has been instructed to regroup when they lose possession, and then the goalkeeper has been instructed to take long kicks and distribute it quickly. Looking at his player selection or his player roles, Josh opts for a deep line forward on support duty and then an advanced forward on attack, and the winger on the right hand side here is an inverted winger on attack. Instead of fullbacks, Josh opts for wing backs on automatic duty, and they don't have a lot of instructions except one player asks to stay wider, and then both wingers have been instructed to cross the ball to the center of the box. Third tactic that we're looking at is GYR's fantastic 4-4-2 tactic. This looks like a combination of Josh Daly's tactic and the 4-4-2 goal machine tactic, but I do notice that there is a pressing forward on support duty, and you have wingers both on either flank playing on attack duty, and then you have wing backs instead of fullbacks this time, wing backs on support duty. The wing backs also have a lot of instructions. I'm not going to go through everybody, but looking at the defenders, the central defenders this time are both central defenders, no ball playing defender involved, and then you have a sweeper keeper on support duty. Looking at the team's instructions now, there's a lot of instructions for the team. Looking at this is straight up wing play. Force the opposition down the right hand side, try to play the ball through the right, nobody's going through the middle, try to spread the opposition as wide as you can and try to get those crosses into the box. I do like the way this tactic is set up. The next tactic that we're looking at is the 4-4-2 Shima. This is a very special one. It's almost as special as the next tactic that we're going to look at. Stay tuned for that. But this tactic has the most attacking roles that I've ever seen on Football Manager tactics. I mean, you have to be really confident in your team to play this many players on attack duty. I'm not even joking. The team's fluidity is highly structured. You have a sweeper keeper on defend duty, and then the two ball playing defenders also on defend duty, and then your central defender on defend duty. Observe that there is no player on support in this tactic. Everybody else, except the players that I just listed, are playing on attack. Your fullbacks are on attack duty. They're not even wingers, they're inverted wingers. Your inverted wingers are also on attack duty. Goodness that there are no instructions attached to each of these players. And then you have two advanced forwards on attack duty as well. I'm starting to wonder where the space is going to come from. It looks like this tactic is designed for the last 10 minutes of the game when you're sure that you absolutely need a goal, like right now. You can go on to deploy this tactic. You can see that the mentality is very attacking. So I will not recommend this tactic for a long run kind of philosophy building, but if you're looking for match scenarios where you really need to get a goal, you can go on to pick up this tactic. It's heavy on trying to score. The last tactic that we'll be looking at today, it's indeed the most powerful of all the other tactics that I've looked at. It's odd that the tactic is also balanced, but this tactic works a treat. I like it because of the two Segundo Volantes in the DM position. At first, in my mind, I was really fighting myself to not bring this tactic into the equation because it's kind of cheating. You have like not exactly a flat 4-4-2 tactic, but it is a 4-4-2 nonetheless. And playing 2 segundo volantes doesn't just sit well with me with my tactical view, something like that, but it sort of works well in Football Manager. I don't know if it has a lot to do with the match engine, but the Football Manager opposition hates to play against systems like this. They kind of struggle to defend against it. 2 segundo volantes on support duty, and then you have wing backs on support duty as well. They have few instructions, so in case I forget, I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download these tactics for yourself straight from the websites where they are hosted. And then you have ball playing defenders on defend duty here in this case, and then you have a super keeper on defend duty as well. Inside forwards on attack duty, and then 2 advanced forwards on attack duty. The tactic is aiming to try and overload the opposition and try to hit them with as many chances as possible and try to create goals from there, all the while staying balanced and cautious enough to try and stop the opposition on the counter attack. And then you have segundo volante sitting in the DM position. It means that when the team is out of possession, they will not venture too far forward. You can see that the standard defensive line is what the tactic creator has opted for here, so the team is still going to try to stay in their shape defensively, but they will still have that much more often trigger press to try to win the ball back as soon as possible. So have you been playing with any 4-4-2s? Have you been able to get the 4-4-2 tactic to work on Football Manager 2023? If you have, I would like to see your tactic. Do let me know in the comment section, or you can share the tactic with me on Discord. I'm going to attach a link to the Discord server also in the description, so and jump in on the Discord and then we can look at your tactic. That's all from me today. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.